To make a gorgeous snowflake, what you're going to need is you're going to need a hook, and you're going to need some yarn, and you're also going to need some scissors and a tapestry needle. To get started, we're going to make a magic circle. From here, we're going to start our row 1. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and that's going to count as our first double crochet, or equivalent if you like. We're going to make 11 more to create 12 double crochets in our magic circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we've got 12 double crochets in our magic circle. I'm just going to pull this a bit tighter to close the magic circle here, and then we're going to join with a slip stitch. I'm going to do that. Got 1, 2, 3 chain, and then just up here, that's where we're going to join. So we're going to push our hook in, bring our working yarn. I'll just move that out of the way. That's where we began. Okay, so bring our working yarn through and through again for our slip stitch, and there we have our first round, our first row in fact. So now for row 2. So for row 2 we are going to chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3, and then in this stitch here we're going to make a double crochet, and that's going to count as 2 double crochets in the first chain there, and we're going to go all the way around in the remaining 11 spaces, putting 2 double crochets in place. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 chain spaces we've currently worked in. So now that we've got all those 12 chain spaces from the previous round, or row, row 1, worked into, we're going to complete our round 2 now by slip stitching into the top over here of this stitch. So 1, 2, 3 chain, and let's set that on there. So inserting our hook, just to show you again where it is. Okay, and then taking our working yarn, pulling through and pulling through again for our slip stitch, and there we have row 2 or round 2 completed with 24 double crochets. So now this is where it's going to start to take shape on row 3. So we're going to start row 3 in the same way we have the previous 2 rows. We're going to do a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now what we're going to do is we're just going to work in this space here and make another one, a double crochet, and count the first chain 3 as a double crochet yet again. There we go. Then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, double crochet into that space again, that chain, okay, and again. Okay, so in that little chain from the previous round there, we have 2 double crochets, chain 3 and 2 double crochets. Okay, so from here we are going to chain 1 and we're going to skip a chain and go into the next chain with a half double crochet. So yarn over into this chain and pulling through to make a half double crochet there, and then we're going to chain once and repeat the half double crochet again in this little space. So yarn over into the chain, pull up a loop and pull through all 3. Okay, so now we're just going to chain 1 and then skip a chain, and into the next chain we're going to repeat very similarly to how we began, 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets, all into this one here, this chain. Okay, so first double crochet, second double crochet here, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 more double crochets into that same chain. Okay, so we're going to now repeat this. We're going to repeat again with this section here, which is a skip a chain, and then we're going to do create a chain and then do a half double crochet, chain, half double crochet into this space here. Okay, so that's the one we're skipping, and then we're going into here after we do our chain. There we go. That was our first half double crochet, a chain, now a half double crochet, there we have it, and then a chain again, skip a space, and then into the next one we're going to be repeating our 2 double crochets, chain 3 and 2 double crochets. Okay, so we're going to repeat this until we have our hexagon shape, so you can follow along with me. Okay, so you can see now at the end of row 3 we've got a hexagon shape here, and we're just going to slip stitch to close here. So we're just going to find the top here where we want to slip stitch into, and that'll be just here. So I'm going to push my needle in there, my crochet hook, and pull up and pull through there. There we go. So that completes row 3, and as you can see, we're beginning to get our lovely shape here. So now the next row, in row 4, is going to be the finishing touch. So what we're going to do here is we are going to slip stitch into this chain space here, just to bring our yarn into the position we want it to be in. There we go. And then from here we are going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to slip stitch it into this chain space here. This is the large point here. Then we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and slip stitch into this same chain space. I'll show you what it looks like at the moment. So there we go, that's what it's looking like at the moment. I'm just going to do another chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to go into the next chain space, which is over here, and do a slip stitch. Now we're doing another chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and into our next chain space, our slip stitch. There we go. So you can see a little part of the snowflake starting to take up shape there. Okay, so from here we are going to go into the next chain space with a single crochet, and then next chain space we're doing a slip stitch. From here a chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into the next chain space, another chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and into this large chain space here. And then in the same large chain space we're going to do our chain 4 and slip stitch 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's our 6th chain, and we're slip stitching into the same large chain space and a chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and slip stitch this into the next chain space here. And from here you can see we've got most of the peak of our snowflake here, and we're going to do another chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and into our next chain space, and then single crochet and slip stitch into the next chain space, and then chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the next chain space a slip stitch, another chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the large chain space at the peak here with a slip stitch there. Then a chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and again slip stitch into the large chain space. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the next chain space with a slip stitch. Then chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the next chain space with a slip stitch. And then in our next chain space it's a single crochet again, and the next is a slip stitch, and then chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then slip stitch into the next chain space, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and slip stitch into the large chain space at the top here. Then 6, 1 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and slip stitch into the same chain space. And then chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and slip stitch into the next chain space. Then chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and slip stitch into the next chain space. And then in the next chain space it's a single crochet, and the next is a slip stitch. Then we're going to chain 4 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into the next chain space, and then chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and slip stitch into the large chain space again. Then chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into the next chain space, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and slip stitch into the next chain space there. Okay, so it's really starting to take up shape, so not far, we've just got this little bit to go and we'll be finished. Okay, so from here we're going to do a single crochet into here, into our next chain space, then into the one after, it's our slip stitch again, and then chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into the next chain space, then 4 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into the next chain space, the large one. Then we're going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, slip stitch into the large chain space, then chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into the next chain space, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a slip stitch into the next chain space, single crochet, and slip stitch into the next. Now the last little piece here, we're just going to chain 4 to make our very last little point of our snowflake. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to join. We're going to slip stitch into here and then we'll just join it together there. So you can see our beautiful, beautiful snowflake is all complete now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just cut our yarn and then all that's left to be done now is to sew in our yarn at the start and at the end of the project. And as you can see, we have got a stunning, stunning snowflake, perfect for Christmas and the festive time.